Yeah, man!
Hello, my name is Miguel, and today I'm gonna make for you chicken, mushrooms, coconut stew. So we're gonna need one chicken's breast, about a pound or a half pound. Some mushrooms, fresh mushrooms. One medium-sized onion or two small onions. One stalk scallion. 4 garlic cloves. Spring of thyme. 1 cup coconut milk. Tablespoon of salt, I use sea salt. 1 tablespoon parsley. 1 tablespoon basil. You can use any of these herbs fresh, chop it fine though. Tablespoon of distilled white vinegar. And today I'm gonna add some wild cherry tomatoes. Remove dying leaves from the scallion, cut off ends. Cut off the root end and the tip of the leaf that's dying. Spring of thyme. Remove peel garlic. Cut off ends. Trim spoilage. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. Peel onion, remove the brown leaf. The first layer of the onion is the strongest. Only remove it if it spoils, if it's spoiling. You can use mushroom in the can. Just remove the water or the syrup that it comes in, rinse off the mushrooms. But today I'm using fresh mushrooms. You can use 3 between 6 mushrooms for this recipe. I'm only using 3 mushrooms today. Fresh mushrooms. Get a bowl, add enough water. Sprinkle a tablespoon of distilled white vinegar in the water. Use your fingers and wash scallion clean. Wash garlic cloves clean. Wash thyme stick properly. And for this recipe, it's best if you use thyme stick, not thyme leaves. Wash mushrooms properly. It's best if you do this part on the fresh running water. After that, throw off this water and add fresh running water and give it a final rinse. It's best if you do this part on the fresh running water. Now we're gonna chop, slice and dice. What I like to do with the mushrooms is turn it, the round part, down on the chopping board. You want to get about 1/8 of an inch thickness. So do as you see me doing and slice mushrooms 1/8 of an inch thickness. And if you are using mushrooms from the can, remember, throw off that syrup and rinse it a couple times. And so once you slice the mushrooms, put them in a bowl, cover it, and put it aside for later. Slice onions, or you can dice it as well. Dice scallion. Scallion is optional. You can probably use chive instead. Grind garlic to puree. Keep ingredients separate together in a bowl or a container. Measure and add 1 tablespoon dried parsley, measure and add 1 tablespoon or a little bit less sweet basil. Remember now, you can use any of these herbs fresh. Just chop it fine. Alright, now that we gathered all of our ingredients in one place, but before that, I gotta measure and add quarter between half teaspoon dried pimento berries. The pimento berries are optional. Measure and put aside half tablespoon salt. I use sea salt. Alright, cover the onions to keep the fumes contained. Put your vegetables aside for later. Put your ingredients, your seasonings aside for later. This is my cherry tomato that's growing wild in my yard. This tomato, is much more stronger than the regular tomato that they have in stores. This is the wild one. This is like wild. If you notice how fine they are, they don't get any bigger than what you see. Get a container with some water, drizzle a couple drops of distilled white vinegar in the water. We're going to rinse off our chicken before cooking. So do as you see me doing, remove the chicken's skin. We're going to debone this chicken today, so I don't have to prepare it that much. I don't even have to remove these clogged blood, but I'm removing it. And peel off or trim off any fat that you might see around the chicken's breast. Removing the skin from the second piece of chicken's breast. These two pieces of chicken's breast are prepared clean. The supermarket, do they pre-prepared and cleaned it out. I wasn't going to debone it in this bowl, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So do as you see me doing. Debone the chicken. What I like to do, is get a sharp knife, a short little sharp knife like this. Sharp, short knife like this. And get between the chicken's flesh and bone and debone the chicken. It's best if you do this part on a flat surface on a chopping board. But all I'm doing is rubbing the knife alongside the chicken's bone between the flesh, and then remove the chicken's flesh from the bone. I'm only going to use one piece. Once you do that, throw off that water and give your chicken's breast, your deboned chicken's breast, a final rinse. It's best if you do this part under fresh running water. You see, with these plastic chopping board, in my case this is a chopping tray or chopping mat. You see, if you have it and it sit around before you use it a long time, rinse it, wash it properly, and do as you see me doing. Drizzle several drops of distilled white vinegar on the surface and kind of clean it properly, and then rinse that off before you use it. That way you're sure that no bacteria is growing in the plastic from the last time you used it. Because to be honest, if you know anything about me, I don't like using these chopping boards that much. Alright, so with the chicken's breast, do as you see me doing. Cut strips or flakes, chicken's flakes, about an inch, between an inch and a half length of chicken's strips or flakes. So that's the idea. It should be about a finger's length long. You don't want to cut them too fine. I'm deciding to use half of these chickens. I'm going to just cut off a piece of the breast. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. Hopefully I can complete some cookbooks that I plan to put these recipes in when they come out. Please support me and buy the cookbooks. That's the idea, that's what you want. You're cleaned and prepared, deboned chicken's breast. Just put these aside for later. Keep them covered though. For this recipe, we're using a tablespoon of salt, sea salt. I use half of the tablespoon in the salt and allow it to just marinate for a little while until we're ready for cooking. Alright, this is our wild cherry tomatoes, and just gently screw them off the stem because I don't want them to burst. and wash them. I wash them with white vinegar and fresh running water. Put them aside for later. This is our coconut milk. If you don't want to use a coconut milk, measure a cup of water. I had a pack of the powdered coconut milk, the 50 grams pack of coconut milk powder, and then mix it to the 1 cup of water. But today I'm going to use coconut milk from the can. You can also get a real coconut and shred it and juice it and get the coconut from the coconut. If you want to see how that's done, just look at my previous videos. But today I'm just going to use the coconut milk from the can. So do as you see me doing. Use use a can opener and open the can. Clean off the surface of the can first. If you want to do it my way, just remember, cut away from you. I'm only going to use 1 cup of coconut milk today. So 1 cup coconut milk. Measure and put it aside. Yes, cover it. After all that, put to heat medium-sized saucepan. Put the stove gauge on 4, medium-low. Allow it to dry for a minute. And there's no water in the saucepan. Add about a cup of cooking oil. I use coconut oil. You can use any cooking oil, really. Alright, this is some oil that I fried some chicken in. It's still good, so I'm just using it to fry chicken chunks. Add the oil. Don't add it, this is like a quarter way up, but don't add it no more than a quarter way up. We're not cooking plenty chicken today. After between 4 minutes, and you can see the oil and you can see some smoke burning from the oil, that means the oil is hot enough and ready for frying. Do as you see me doing. Gather your chicken chunks, flakes, strips, whatever you want to call them, and add your chicken chunks to the heating oil. I'm using this oil scammer. Once you add the pieces to the heating oil, you gotta allow it to stay before you stir it. About 30 seconds or so. Just allow. After a minute, get a cooking spoon and separate the pieces. Kind of stir in the chicken chunks in the eating oil. Separate the pieces. They won't be sticking. You just kind of need to separate the pieces. I mean, they won't be sticking to the pot's bottom. So once you kind of go through with your cooking spoon and separate the pieces, you allow. Stove gauge is on 4. Allow. Medium low. The stove gauge is on 4, medium low. We are not gonna cook this long. It's been 3 minutes now, and this is what it looks like. This method, this step, we're not gonna cook the chicken long. I just want it to cook halfway. Stir it in a few times and allow. A full 6 minutes now. This is what you want. You want the chicken to cooked. You want it to be cooked halfway. Now would be a good time to turn the stove gauge on low, almost off. If you want, you can even turn the stove off while you're doing this part. Do as you see me doing. Use a spoon that scoops and remove 95% of this oil. You want to leave back 1/4 cup of cooking oil. So do as you see me doing, kind of shift or move the half cooked chicken pieces to half side of the saucepan. Next, add your dried pimento berries to the other side. in the eating oil and allow it to flavor the oil. The stove gauge is on low, almost off low. By keeping the stove gauge on low, it reduces the risk of the berries bursting. And hurting you. Allow the dried pimento berries to flavor the oil, the cooking oil, on low heat for 10 minutes. Why I do this way? Because I want to give you a good eating experience. So when you eat in the meal, you don't have to stop and take out or shift any spices aside. You just eat straight through. Alright, 10 minutes. Use a cooking spoon and remove the cooked pimento berries from the flavored oil. Now would be a good time to turn the stove back up on 4 medium-low. Keep the half cooked chicken chunks on the other side, half side of the saucepan still. Next, add your chopped onions to the other side in the eating oil and allow it to saute. By doing it this way and burning the onions, you're adding additional flavors that's not in a bottle. After between 20 seconds later, add your chopped scallion. 10 seconds later, add your mashed garlic. Allow it to saute. This is the other half of the tablespoon of salt that we're using. Oh, I forgot that I have already measured and put it aside. I'm not going to use the salt. The stove gauge is on 4 medium-low. After between 30 seconds and your onions and the scallion is sauteed somewhat, combine the onions with your half cooked chicken chunks and stir in. Add your thyme stick, add your herbal. Herbal is a bunch of different herbs put together is called an herbal. It's a thyme stick. Remember, use thyme stick. Do not use thyme leaves. Alright, so do as you see me doing. Stir fry, and combine the chicken pieces with all that herbs and your cooked vegetables. Next, add your chopped mushrooms combined with all that seasoning. Stove gauge is on 4 medium-low still. Do what you see me doing and stir fry and kind of flavor up all the mushroom with the chicken and the herbs, the vegetables and all. If you were using pepper, you could have used a half piece Scotch bonnet pepper or a quarter shredded red pepper. Alright, add your cup coconut milk. I just put a little water in the little tip, like 2 tablespoons of water in the cup that the coconut milk was in, just to get out all that cream, and then add it to the pot, add it to the saucepan. Do as you see me doing, and kind of stir it in. Next, add the remaining salt. Stir it in. with this next part, you gotta keep the pan's lid off. Put the stove gauge on 6 medium high. This is a method here in Jamaica we call a rundown. In other words, it's really coconut stew. Alright, to get it creamy and juicy, you gotta keep the pan's lid off and just allow it to just brew away. I'm gonna leave the time. You're gonna see it transform in front of your face. You can use coconut powder. Just use the 50-gram pack and add it to the 1 cup water and mix it out properly. After a minute, this is what it looks like. This is what you want. You don't want to keep the lid on for this method because it's gonna sweat and it's not gonna give us that nice rundown creaminess that we like. Remember, the stove's gauge is on 6. Keep it up. It's up. I used this word on a previous video and I said I'm not sure if it's a real word, and a lady commented and said it is a real word. A white woman commented and said it is a real word. And just allow it to creamify. Add a tablespoon distilled white vinegar, and you can also add 1 tablespoon of cooking wine as well. But I'm not using cooking wine today. Stir it in and allow. If you could just smell the aroma. It's not a powerful aroma, but I can smell the aroma. The stew has its own aroma. Stir it in a few times, and now I'm removing the thyme stick because it tends to splash and mess my stove up and burn me, and it might burn me. Alright, so do as you see me doing, kind of gently go through and stir it in, and feel how creamy your stew is getting. I said feel. You can't feel anything through the spoon, but it's more like see. More like you gotta see how the stew is creamifying. It's been 4 minutes. This is what it looks like so far. It's starting to form that nice rundown creaminess that I like. I'm doing this meal to inspire international people. This is my wild cherry tomato. This is the idea. That's what you want. You want to get your stew very creamy. It has to have the perfect texture. And you know, once the stew starts to really stick to the pot's bottom, because it's already sticking to the pot's bottom, but once it's really start to stick to the pot's bottom, like it's gonna stick and start burning now, that's that's a sign to say it's ready. Alright, you saw that. It's been 5 minutes now. Turn the stove off. We're finished. We're gonna add the tomatoes serving. Use the pan's lid, cover the pan until serving. Before serving your meals, stir your pot in. Now would be a good time to add the cherry tomatoes. You don't want to add them early because they're going to get soft and burst into the stew. And it would be best if you serve them this way. So do as you see me doing and take a scoop of this delicious chicken mushroom coconut stew or chicken mushroom rundown. And today I'm having it with spaghetti. This is chicken mushroom coconut stew, aka chicken mushrooms rundown. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. Subscribe, like, and share. You should try cooking this meal yourself. Give us feedback when you do. Chicken mushrooms rundown. Chicken mushrooms coconut stew from an international audience. I would like my international audience get used to the word rundown. Although I'm going to be labeling these recipes coconut stew, I'm also going to put alongside it rundown. My whole idea with these international meals, I'm going to brought to you from Jamaica. So I'm going to be bringing these international meals from Jamaica. So they're going to have a little bit of Caribbean influence, but they're going to be made for international people, meaning they're going to be refined, boneless, stuff like that. Because when you visit the website JamaicaDinners.com, it's going to be Jamaica. And then for you to get international meals, you'll have to visit the international section. My objective is introduce to you international meals coming from Jamaica. This is very creamy, juicy. The mushrooms goes well with this meal. It's a lovely, healthy, clean, flavorful, creamy meal. I'm enjoying it. Right now I'm really enjoying this meal. You can eat this meal with spaghetti, like me, or you can eat this meal with salad, or even cooked rice. I'm tasting a little bit of sweetness. I don't know where that sweet flavor is coming from. Like 10% sweetness. The distilled white vinegar blends lovely in this meal, or it combines good in this meal. The herbs is good with this meal. The cherry tomatoes are optional. I just add them because I had them, because they were available. But this recipe is really chicken mushroom coconut stew. So to be creative, you can also add some diced carrot in it. Add it a minute before the end. I'm just going to add some more spaghetti and finish off the rest of this chicken mushroom rundown. I'm in the process of doing these books right now. I'm hoping to complete them before December of this year. The pepper, you could add a little pepper, like I have scotch bonnet pepper. Or a quarter teaspoon shredded red pepper. But to be honest, if the book is to be, it will be. That's all I have to say right now. The thyme, the flavor of the thyme blends well in this meal too. Oh yes, I know where the sweetness of the sweetness flavor coming from. It's the wild, the cherry tomato. That's where that sweetness was coming from. Alright, this is a good meal. I enjoyed it. Until next time, bye.
Yeah, man!